economy, all your money has to be working all the time for you to remain profitable. And that's why I pass on some assortments. You know, I remember the last Avengers assortment was just terrifyingly bad.
Yeah.
You couldn't make money on it. It was cheaper for me to go to Walmart or Toys R Us, buy the 2 or 3 main figures that were cool, and then bail on the rest. That actually was an option for me.
Yeah.
But that's why I like the Marvel Selects, because I can just pick up the phone and order 36 Deadpools or 12 Cables or whatever. I don't have to get, you know, some obscure figure just because I want to get the Deadpool set, and I don't want to get stuck with, I don't know, some figure that doesn't sell.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Because it's expensive now. I remember these figures. I used to be selling them for $20. And now the average price is between 30 to 40.
Yeah, like 35, kind of. Yeah.
I walk into Walmart and they're on sale for $28 to $30. That's the sale price.
How do you compete with that, right?
Yeah, because they're selling them, frankly, just for a few bucks above my cost.
Yeah,
and it's a numbers issue in the end.
I still think you guys have like a good presence when it comes to toys here, because I don't really see action figures. Maybe it's because I'm an adult now, you know, and when I was a kid it was the Justice League Unlimited stuff that was really big.
Oh, I remember that.
You know,
that was a good line. Yeah,
it was a great line. And maybe now it's because I'm not, you know, physically playing with toys anymore that I've lost touch with that. But do kids even still buy action figures? I mean,
they do. I sold a Deadpool just a couple hours ago,
to a kid?
like an hour or maybe a little more before. Yeah, someone came in. Someone who had eaten next door, and he brought his son in and bought a Deadpool action figure.
Yeah,
because a lot of you can't just go to Walmart unless you're buying it in that particular release of Marvel Legends. You can't just go buy a Deadpool figure.
Yeah, I
don't understand why Marvel doesn't create 2 or 3 cases through the manufacturer that are, or Disney in this case. And it contains 1 Spider-Man, 1 Hulk, 1 Wolverine, 1 Venom, 1 Deadpool, like all the popular characters all the time. Why can't I just order Spider-Man? They do that for Star Wars. When we carried Star Wars, I was actually able to order solid cases of Darth Maul, Boba Fett, Darth Vader. Someone made me an offer of, and they come in 16 Yodas.
Okay.
They did this because Walmart and Toys R Us were complaining that after all these figures are sold from it, what are they going to do with? I like Natalie Portman, but what are you going to do with 6 Padmes on the shelf?
Right. Exactly.
You're going to be blowing that out. So Walmart complained, and Hasbro responded by actually making solid cases of all these figures. So I know it's possible, but why? You know, I buy the most recent Spider-Man assortment.
Yeah.
Why do I need to get the Shocker? Like, why is he?
Why
is he in there? Take him out and put another Spider-Man in there.
Yeah.
You know, like.
And I'll never understand. I'll never understand that, because aren't they shooting themselves on the foot by doing that too? Because, I mean, that's still production. They still have to make it. They still have to market it. They still have to.
I mean, these decisions, I think, on the most part, it can be said that they're being made by people who don't entirely know the industry, what's coming down the pipe, what has just happened.
Isn't that always the case with movies too?
I used to think that about McFarlane toys. I'm like, wow, who's making some of these decisions? I mean, I've actually met Todd McFarlane. Either at shows, once upon a time, anyone who was direct with McFarlane Toys, he actually came to Toronto, and there was a good 10 of us. He took us all to a Blue Jay game.
Wow.
So I was
that comic book money, though.
Yeah, so talk about that comic book money. And this was the heyday when you were selling tons and tons and tons of figures and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but you always wondered, and I asked him, I said, guidance on, do you ever talk to people in the trenches, meaning the dealers? We're in front of the customers far more than anyone you can speak to. Are you getting guidance on what to put in this packaging?
And
he said sometimes they do, but there are other concerns. Obviously, it depends what the publisher is trying to push, right? You know. Well,
yeah, I know. And there's just, I've always wanted to collect toys, but then as I got older, I was kind of thinking, well, you know, I am I have some things, but I'm more kind of like, should I just invest more on statues now rather than, because I still have my like New 52 stuff there, which they say it's supposed to stand on its own, but it really doesn't. I mean, Cyborg, of course, stands on his own because he's got a good foundation on his foot. But I mean, someone like the Flash with dainty figure feet, it doesn't stand. You have to lean them against stuff. You have to really pose them up, and bases have always been a problem for me.
So that asks another question about the quality of the figures.
That's right. Yeah,
I'm straight with my clientele, and like, if a customer comes in, it's a father or mother, and they're buying something for their son or daughter, and their son or daughter's right there, and they're 5, I'll tell them, I say, listen, like, it says not for children under 3 years of age, but that's only because it contains small parts or whatever.
Sure.
But every single one of the Marvel packaging, or DC for that matter, will say for ages 14 and over.
Yeah, because it's more of a collectible.
Correct. And they're trying to make the characters anatomically correct. So Wonder Woman's arm is just being held on like the smallest little filament of plastic. And I said, listen, I don't want to disappoint you because we don't refund people's purchases for damage incurred during play.
Sure, of course,
If you want to bring it back, I got no problem. If it wasn't something you wanted or whatever, I want people to get what they're looking for. But if you open it up and little Bobby broke it in 2 days, I don't replace for that. I can't afford to offer that.
That's little Bobby's loss, that's for sure.
Right? And especially if it's a vintage toy or a limited edition and it's $40, $50, or $100, then, there's nothing I can do for you. I can't even replace this immediately. So I warn people right from the get-go, this may not be for you. I remember my kids playing with toys called Rescue Rangers.
Yeah,
you remember those? Of all those toys, I've never handed down toys so often, and in 9 years, not a single one broke. I mean, you could have hammered in a nail with one of those action figures.
Well, it's pretty solid. Like, it doesn't have
totally.
Like locks on the. I don't think it had locks on its joints.
No.
Right? It was just like a solid.
You could swivel the arm exactly. All the way around. That's what I mean. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And not in 9 years of my kids, through my 3 sons, playing with them, and they handed them down, did I ever break one. I knew that was a fantastic, long-lasting toy, and I even quote that to people, and I say, by the way, this Wonder Woman figure is not like that. This, if you've got a son or daughter who's playing hard with it,
chances are
a couple weeks.
A leg will come out.
Yeah, no, I just like to be honest about what people are buying because a lot of these action figures are kind of doing what they do, just sitting in the packaging, and they're really posing. They're meant
just
to be
the way
posed
that,
on someone's desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last thing that I wanted to talk to you about today was digital comics. Just because, of course, you sell physical comics here.
No one's reading them.
No one's reading them.
No one's reading
them.
No,
so it hasn't affected you guys at all?
Rep. No, actually, I had an opportunity to speak to someone because I got transferred to the wrong department, and I actually spoke to someone who knew something about DC's online presence.
Yeah.
And this is going back a few years ago, and I said, well, the the DC digital website has been up and running for several years now. How many people have monthly subscriptions? He goes, well, the global monthly subscription. The global was less than 10,000 people. This is for the world.
That's alarming, actually.
Right? And he goes, yeah, we have a presence there because Warner Brothers, all the publishers, including Disney, that's what they do. But I don't know anyone who's collecting digital comic books except out of desperation because they haven't been able to find a particular issue, but they still want to read the story.
Sure,
You're paying for it. You don't own it. I remember when there was an intellectual property dispute over the George Orwell's 1984.
Yeah.
So between the family and the publisher, you woke up one Monday morning, and there was $10 back in your account, and the book was gone off your Kobo or e-reader, right? So you don't actually own it. It's like a video rental.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go up in value. So for the extra few cents, and it's literally just an extra few cents.
That's right. Yeah. It's like
50 cents a buck. You might as well own the actual. Oh.
Yeah.
You might as well own the live copy and support the industry.
Yeah.
Support the physicality of it, and also what I'm finding is people want to feel the comic book. They want to smell it. They want to.
Yeah.
They want to.
We were just talking about comic smells too. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't find I can play video games for hours or surf the net, but I don't find reading on a screen
no,
to
not
be
at all.
relaxing in any capacity, and I think most people don't.
No, I mean, with me, like, I mean, as I said, I started off with like Archie digests, and I've always wanted to read it as a whole page panel.
Yes.
Boy, Joey and I were talking about it the last time I hung out here.
Yeah, you mentioned you have to expand it or something.
Yeah, you know, like, you still, I mean, and it's also that backlight. You know, the backlight is not so good on the eyes, and sometimes maybe I last maybe 10 minutes reading it, whether if I had maybe a trade paperback, you know, especially if it's beautifully painted, if, you know, it's not the same, you know, and
yeah.
I'll always have a pull list. I'll always have, I think I'm going to be like that forever, you know, because it's something that you lose out on experience, you know, whether it is for nostalgic purposes, nostalgic reasons, that's how I read comics back in the day. And I was always kind of thinking, you know, do you think that there's going to be a day where digital comics takes over?
No, not at all.
Yeah. Well,
No,
I'm happy that you said that.
It's not at all. I am an analog business which relies on the sale of paper. Let's face it. So
just pretty paper, though.
Pretty paper.
Yeah.
That says it well.
Yeah.
And 7 to 10 years ago, I did feel threatened. No one knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, matter of fact, I know for a fact books are actually slowly coming back. It's like albums versus CDs.
It's because of those hipsters. They brought it back, eh?
They do. They want quality, and they want the experience back. They don't want it reduced to bits and bytes. And reading can be a relaxing, entertaining experience. I don't find the same thing. Now, you know, textbooks and a novel like a Harry Potter book. Sure, if I have to take it on a plane, I don't want a book consuming
a Kobo.
space.
That's good for that
That's what
stuff.
that's made for.
Yeah.
But a graphic novel or a comic book, no.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it's actually ever going to replace it. I think it's just a different enough a medium, and it's not. Yes, technology replaces all other technologies eventually. You know, like the album was.
Like we don't have beepers anymore.
Correct, or pagers. Whatever,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cell phones, and then cell phones turned into personal devices, smartphones.
Sure. Yeah.
Exactly. So.
And now we're recording a podcast through it. So, you know, like it's interesting. Like, I mean, to me, there's no better feeling than looking forward to a Wednesday and knowing that the new Captain America came out and it's beautifully bag and boarded for you. It's ready to take home, and all you need to do is pop up a cork or a beer, whatever, or a coffee, and just kind of sit down and hang out with it. You know, and there's nothing like trying to find good light in homes these days. They just do not make lights anymore. Everybody has lamps now. You know, like condos, like they just don't make like communal lights anymore. Which is, I mean, I guess sure, it's a good thing. It looks nicer, but I still do that. You know, like that's still my same experience as when I was a kid, where I'm like, I'm just gonna read at the very edge of the sofa because that's where the lamp is. You know what I mean? Same thing with the Game Boy back when they didn't have a backlight. You know,
I remember that. Oh my god!
Oh yeah, that was like the first game.
A while ago.
Oh yeah, it was like a big sandwich-looking Game Boy back in the day, right? And you had to have good light, you know, and I appreciate it. I appreciate books. I appreciate that, you know, there's still so much comic book shops that are still going strong, and you know, with healthy pull lists, and my gosh, you have a lot of trade paperbacks here as well.
I'm proud of my selection.
I'm happy with it.
And I'm kind of low. Like I see all the
holes.
This
is considered low for you?
Yeah, there's probably another 100 different trades that, you know, Fables 19 out of 22 I'm missing.
Right.
So every series I'm like, okay, I got to get back to work after so that we can get them in for next week, because stuff's always selling. Yeah.
Well, right? if you ever have any of the Black Canary, by the way, single issues, still missing 1, 10, 11, and 12, the one that is with I think it's Woo. It's now a trade paperback, but I just don't have the I have the single issues, and I want to keep it with that. But that's another thing too. There's some things that I want to keep as a trade paperback, and I'm okay with reading it. But there's nothing like reading single issues, and it takes up all the room in your house. But it's still my preferred reading experience.
I thought I had the 4-issue miniseries. I think someone bought it. I put it into the dollar bins. I was going to
Oh,
just give
really?
it to you.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, if you ever see it, you know who's looking for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.